listening to the JCA Sports Podcast.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Let me center myself right here quickly. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the Star 6 Media Production and under the John Quinavi Facebook page, too, as well. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on TikTok, all under the Star 6 Media. That's a lot. Oh, we do got a lot here. But yeah, just make sure you guys follow us. Make sure you guys like and share all of our posts, all of our episodes, not just our show, the John Quinavi, the JCA Sports Podcast, but also the main event, Only Football, 3 Up, 3 Down, the EAFP, and all the other shows that we have under the Star 6 Media Productions. As of right now, I am solo dolo for the moment. Jose should be hopping on soon. I think John, too, may join us. Who knows? But nonetheless, I still got you guys covered here to start off the show. As always, make sure... And I got music playing in the background, huh? That's weird. As always, you guys can also comment and also join us on the post here too as well. I'm about to post the link on the page so you guys can join us too as well, as we got a lot to talk to you guys today. We have NFL, Lamar, Aaron Rodgers. Opening day is tomorrow for baseball. That's going to be exciting. We want to see what your predictions are, how you guys feel about your teams this year. And also, we have NBA talk as the season's right about to wrap up right around the corner. And the Bulls have a super slight chance of making the playoffs. I think right now, currently, they're in the playing game, but right now they are losing. The last time I checked, they were losing against the Los Angeles Lakers. It wasn't about that much. I think it was about like 5 or 6 points. But I stopped watching because I had to prepare for the show. But nonetheless, and we know you guys, we got you guys covered. We're going to get into it. There's a lot of speculation. We're going to go right into NFL. Again, the link is on here if you guys want to join. Oh, I didn't put it on the Facebook page. But if you guys want to join, like I said, you can always comment on the link or put it on the comment section too as well. All right, so the never-ending saga story of Lamar Jackson on where is he going to go. Now, that's the thing right now. Lamar Jackson, I think, with the contracts situation that he has with the Baltimore Ravens has put themselves in a tricky situation because they gave him a non-exclusive tag, so teams can sign him or offer him a contract. You know, the Ravens can match it if they want to, or they can give him a first-round pick. And I think in one of our polls the other day, I want to say it was via Twitter, we posted up there now, what team has a better chance into getting Lamar Jackson, right? The teams were the Vikings, the Colts. What was it? Vikings, Colts, Jets, I believe, and the Dolphins, right? Now, the only thing about the Dolphins though, in this situation, since they don't have a first round pick this year, they have to wait until after the draft is over in order for them to give up 2 first round draft picks, which will be obviously next year and the year after that. The other 3 teams in this team that or in this poll question that we put up there, the Vikings, the Colts, and I believe it was the Jets. I forgot who was the other one. They can offer first round picks for him, right? It's 2 first round picks. That's basically the asking price for Lamar Jackson, right? I stated my case for as much as I don't want to, as much as I don't want to see it. I stated my case for the Minnesota Vikings simply because they have 1 year left on Kirk Cousins. Right? They still have Dalvin Cook and also Justin Jefferson's. I think they also got T.J. Hawkinson as the tight end too as well. A very reliable tight end in that squad too as well. And we have also seen what the Minnesota Vikings is are with Kirk Cousins at the helm, right? And how far Kirk Cousins can take you. And that's why, to me, again, I don't want to see it, but it makes a lot of sense in putting the Minnesota Vikings into this conversation, into this discussion, simply because you can say they're one quarterback away to competing in the NFC. And the NFC team, what's up, Jose? And the NFC conference that is so wide open that Lamar Jackson to Minnesota Vikings and a wide open NFC makes so much sense. And it takes them over the next step in being the best team in the NFC. Jose Contreras here, coming into you guys live and late here with us on the JCA Sports Podcast. Jose, what's up, buddy?
What it do, baby? What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the lateness, but had to do it. Duty calls, literally. But yeah, I'm here.
Can't
Uh,
stand you.
but listening to what you were saying, man, Lamar Jackson to Minnesota Vikings. I think he's more likely probably if you're gonna pick an NFC North team, I can see him more on the Lions than I can on the Vikings. Regardless of the fact, and I know I'm just jumping in right this conversation, but Lamar Jackson wanting to trade out of Baltimore should be one of the biggest things going for a lot of these GMs in the NFL, especially in the NFC. I, in the entire NFL, why? If you're in the AFC, if you're a team like the Steelers, if you're a team like the Colts, if you're a team like the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, Miami Dolphins, right? You need someone like Lamar Jackson. You need to be calling the Baltimore Ravens nonstop because you're in a conference where quarterbacks are crazy good. You're like it's tough over there. You in order for you to even survive, hell, probably in your division, you need Lamar Jackson. Why the Baltimore Ravens are willing to just let him leave is baffling to me. But if you're in the NFC, you should be licking your chops here because again, if you add Lamar Jackson to your team, you're instantly the team with the best quarterback in the entire NFC. I think he surpasses every quarterback in the NFC right now. You put him on any team, if it's the Panthers, the Falcons, you name it. Whatever NFC team is looking for a quarterback, you bring in Lamar Jackson, you literally have the best quarterback in the NFC. Why the hell not? You're instantly a playoff team, possibly an NFC championship contender. I don't get why he's still a Baltimore Raven right now.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that you said that, and you're absolutely right. Obviously, in the NFC, he's probably the best quarterback to come in, and if there's a trade, right? He overexceeds Jalen Hurts, right? I don't think Jalen Hurts wouldn't mind being second in this conversation of being the best quarterback in the conference, right? Because right now he's unanimously the number one quarterback in this conference by default. But you bring in Lamar Jackson, you said the Detroit Lions. That's another good team to put in your team to take it to the next step, right? I say Minnesota, and the worst part about it, it's two teams in our division, the Lions and the Ravens, and it's scary to think that, but you're absolutely right. The Lions makes a lot of sense too. But to you, is it really the Lions, or is there another team that makes a lot more sense outside of the NFC?
Outside of the NFC or the
Yeah,
NFC
outside
North?
of the NFC.
Well, the Miami Dolphins, it should be the number one team. You have everything that you need to win this league. I mean, if you're the Miami Dolphins, with all the weapons you have now, you adding Lamar Jackson, even in a tough conference with all those amazing quarterbacks, you're one of the favorites to win. 100%. You've seen what the Miami Dolphins was able to do with Tua Tagovailoa half the year, and then with Skylar Thompson at the end of the year. I mean, just in the playoffs alone, Skylar Thompson had a great game. That Miami Dolphins team played a great game against the Buffalo Bills, a Bills team that were favored all year. So 100%, Eric, I believe if the Miami Dolphins were to get somebody like Lamar Jackson, that would definitely put them over the top. But with that being said, how do you do it? What do you trade? If you're the Baltimore Ravens, you need to get a lot back for Lamar Jackson because you know damn well this is going to set you back years.
Well, it's 2 first round picks. I think with the non-exclusive tag that he signed or that he hasn't yet to sign or needs to sign, right? The teams can offer him a contract plus the 2 first round picks, but the Baltimore Ravens can match that, right? And I think that's where it's just a little bit of hesitation coming out of for any team in the NFL simply because of his injury history that he has been having for the past couple of seasons, right?
Yeah.
And to give up 2 first round draft picks just like that for Lamar Jackson, and I get it. He's only 25 or 26. He's still young. He still hasn't hit that peak of his career. You already have an MVP quarterback, and a lot of it makes sense for whatever reason, like you said, the Baltimore Ravens doesn't want to give him that contract is beyond me and beyond everybody else in the whole entire sports world that follows the NFL. The Dolphins does make a lot of sense, right? Because again, they have their own injury issue with Tua Tagovailoa, who may or may not take you over the hump, right? And you don't know because well, you sort of kind of know with Tua, right? Because when he played, at least the Dolphins were sort of kind of undefeated before he got hurt, right? I think that was the record out there before his injury started. That he was when he was fully 100% healthy, that team was scary. Offensively going, left, right, up, down, whatever you want to go offensively, like that team was going to go. But now you don't know with his injuries, right?
Yeah.
Teams like the Indianapolis Colts, who may or may not pull the trigger on draft day. And I think that's the thing about it. Like, when will be the right time for you know f- for a team to pull the trigger on Lamar Jackson to give up those 1st round draft picks, right? Because Miami Dolphins can't do it until after the draft, anyways, because they don't have a 1st round pick this year. If they had their 1st round pick this year, I think it would have been a no brainer. I think the Miami Dolphins would have swung for the fences for that one, right? But I think teams are a little bit hesitant simply because of the situation that they are in right now. What I mean by they, I mean the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the contract situation to see, okay, cool, we offer you, these 1st round draft pick and and this contract, but the Ravens also have the right to give him that contract that the team that to match that contract that the team has offered. So that's why there's a lot of steps for that to happen unless if they actually think about it. Because I mean, when you trade Lamar Jackson away to a team, in all reality, where is that 1st round draft pick is going to end up? Because if you send a team like the Colts, Michael Pittman Jr., Jonathan Taylor, decent online, and the AFC South, that draft pick is already going to be in the mid tens, maybe 20s, bottom 20s. The Miami Dolphins, tougher division in the AFC East with the Bills, the Jets, depending if they do or do not get Aaron Rodgers, and the Patriots. Another team that could probably be drafting in the mid 10s to low 20s as well, depending when they make the playoff run, right? The Minnesota Vikings, another team that's in a very weak division with the Bears, Lions, and Packers. Best quarterback in the conference, like we just said, they're also going to be drafting in the mid 10s and the low 20s too as well. So you may say it's a 1st round draft pick, but where in the 1st round you're going to get this? It'll help the Ravens maybe use them to capitalize to move forward into the draft for the next couple of years. Maybe not. But again, it just who are you sending it to? And I guarantee the Ravens do not want to send them into the AFC because they don't want to face him maybe, once every other year or in the playoffs or something like that. Move them away from the conference will probably be the smart thing to do for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep. As we have CP in the comments, CP goes on and says, "This may catch people off guard, but Patriots maybe." Also, it says, "Phew, Lamar with the Vikings would be sick." Honestly, Eric, I don't want to see Lamar Jackson nowhere near the
Me
NFC
neither.
North.
I
We
don't.
just it seems like we're just almost maybe getting rid of Aaron Rodgers. Why would we want someone like Lamar Jackson competing? Not saying, look, I get it. As a competitor, you got to face whoever's in your division, no matter who is playing. But with that being said, the easier the road, the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it's never going to be easy because we have a team like the Detroit Lions who are playing very well. Who's definitely going to be a better team this upcoming season. But if you add Lamar Jackson to the Minnesota Vikings, that team is definitely winning not only the division but maybe even the conference.
Yeah, no. When you have Justin Jefferson, like I said, T.J. Hawkinson, when you have Dalvin Cook as your running back, and obviously they can replace the O line is decent, and that's basically what he says. John, what's up, buddy? What's going
All
on,
right,
man? We
boy.
miss you, man. Hope you're doing well. Lamar is going to be the. Oh no. Sorry, John. No.
We can play. We can play if we can play the game. Lamar, if he's better than 32 guys, I'm pretty sure he's top 10.
Top 5.
Uh,
I can argue. You can argue top 5 for Lamar Jackson.
you can, but you won't. Come on, you won't really play.
You
Lamar
probably
this
won't. You're
top
right.
5.
Top 10 for sure. Top 10 for sure. But yeah, you're right. The Lamar coming to the NFC North. I mean, we like you just said, we may be getting rid of Aaron Rodgers soon, right? But imagine that Lamar to the Vikings would be sick. I think that would make a lot more sense than the Lions, simply because the Vikings just have that little extra. It just has that little extra talent on that team. They need help defensively. That's the only thing. That's the only knock on the Minnesota Vikings. Hence, that's why they lost to the Giants in the playoffs last season. They need help defensively, but they also need that next quarterback to take them to the next level. And we know Kirk Cousins isn't that guy to do so. So yeah, we want to know what you guys think. CP's on here as well. John's on here too as well. You can join us via comments here on the John Conavi or the Star 6 Media Facebook page. And also, or join us. The link is on here in the comment section as well. You guys can join us whenever you guys like. If you guys have any questions for us, or just give us your answer. Where would you like to see Lamar Jackson? What team would you like to see Lamar Jackson at next season? Ravens, it could still be the Ravens or any other team that you guys think. CP says Patriots. So we'll see where we go from there. You guys are watching the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the Star 6 Media app. Or I'm sorry, not app, under the Star 6 Media Facebook page, and also YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Man, Jose, I don't know about you, man, but I'm excited for this draft, bro. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm excited for this draft. And I know that we really didn't put this up into our pregame conversation about this game, but I was reading this. This caught my interest because leading up to this caught my eye, saying that there's reports out there that the Bears may trade back again from 9th to probably into the mid-teens or early teens on this upcoming draft. And granted, it makes sense simply because we've mentioned it before in previous episodes, and prior to that too as well, that gap between 9 and 53 is a big old gap between the next picks for the Chicago Bears. Would you, if there's a certain player, would you still keep the 9th pick? And if that certain players are still there, would you still even trade back to get more draft capital for the Chicago Bears? What would you do?
I would love for our Bears to do whatever they feel like is necessary for them to upgrade this team in whatever shape or form. If it's drafting at number 9, if Ryan Poles, sees something that he really likes at that position, I say go for it. If he feels like, I could get a lot more value for this number 9th pick and still address the needs offensively and defensively, if I trade this number 9 pick, then I say go for it. The whole thing is, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a general manager. I don't know, nothing about that job or position. So I'm just going to go ahead and let Ryan Poles do his thing. And I'm going to trust him until it's proven wrong. I think he's owed that. He's deserved that. What he's done so far throughout free agency has been great on paper. We got to see how that translates on field next season. And I personally think it's going to be great. So whatever he does in the draft, we have to see. We have to wait and see. It's a wait and see kind of game in the NFL, especially for our beloved here in Chicago. So let's see, man. Honestly, like whatever he's able to do, whatever he chooses to do, I'm going to support 100%. I'm going to go with higher expectations next season than I had last season. At the same time, I don't believe I'm not going to go in with 11, 12 game wins on my mind. I'm going to take it one step at a time and just hope and pray that we're going on the right path, Eric.
Yeah, I think that's what we need. And what I like about Ryan Poles is that it looks like this is a man with a plan and he's sticking to it, right? And I know, and yeah, John said he wouldn't mind the Bears trading back, stack up the picks. Yeah, CP says it makes sense, but I really want them to take Paris Johnson at 9. And he believes that Aaron Rodgers will get traded on draft day. I believe
Yes,
that one too. I think if we're going to see a trade like that, Aaron Rodgers will probably be maybe not the first night, probably the second night. We'll see, but no, you know what? I'm lying. No, if it's gonna be trade, it's gonna be the first night. I can't even lie to myself on that one. Um, but no, yeah. I just want what's best for the Chicago Bears too. So I think when you and I think the rest of the Chicago Bears fandom, they want us to. They just want what's good for the Chicago Bears. And if it's more draft picks again, that's the one thing concerning about me right now is that trade for Claypool to the Ravens for the second round pick, or for the second round pick. It just seems so daunting right now because of the gap between both between picks. You know what I mean? And we had from first to 50 something, so we just at least moved back a little bit. But yeah, I would love to have an earlier second round pick. Even if we do have to give up a late second round pick that we picked up either from the Ravens or from another trade that we got that we have two second round picks, I wouldn't mind giving that up too because at least we'll be up ahead in the second round. Um, yeah, just like I said, man, just you're right. Whatever is good for the Chicago Bears, I'm okay with it. I'm just excited because right now it just feels that at the moment Ryan Poles can't do no wrong unless if he drafts the wrong guy. And now we're just here, just waiting, just sit here and waiting for Ryan Poles what to do. Whether if it's an O lineman, whether if it's a defensive line, whether if it's even a wide receiver. Hell, I think I seen a mock draft where the Bears pick up a running back at the ninth pick. Like that's just another thing too as well. So it's crazy. What would you do? Would you go O line? Definitely in the line, but would you go O line or D line for the Bears?
like I said, whatever's the best available, I would go for. But if I'm playing general manager, right? If I'm gonna pick, I want to go with an offensive line. I think we've been addressing the defensive line. We've been addressing both positions, both sides of the field throughout the offseason. However, what's the most important position on your roster? It's the quarterback position,
Quarterback, and they
and
already
we
got that
have
covered.
yeah, we have that covered with Justin Fields. However, we need to make sure that he's covered, and the only way to do that is to ensure that he has a great offensive line in front of him. So that's exactly what I want to see. I want to make sure that we're better offensively than we are defensively. At least starting off, I know there's a bunch of holes to fill, but if I had to choose, Eric, on what side of the ball I would rather, focus on at least right away, it's offensively. Because again, Justin Fields is and should be your priority, and in order to protect him, to ensure that he doesn't get hurt, and you're not looking for another quarterback because of an injury this season and next season, protect the man. Please, please, please protect the man. Get an offensive lineman, and if at number 9 there's a really good one, I say do it.
No, yeah, definitely do it. And obviously today, if you guys don't follow Bear season on Instagram, they already gave an update on what the offensive line is going to look like. Let me just read their post real quick. It says, according to Courtney Cornyn of ESPN, expectation is that Tevin Jenkins will be moved to left guard, Cody Whitehair to center, Nate Davis to right guard. So that's so far your interior inside line for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we need to solidify the offensive tackles positions on both sides. Again, with Sederansky, no, not Sederansky. What's it? Skoransky, um, as the top offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears in their draft board. With a lot of people have them lined up too, unless if Jalen Carter falls to 9, because they also need defensive lineman help. And you're absolutely right. Again, me personally, the Bears gave up a lot of good yards, a lot of chunk yards up in the middle of the field on defensive side of the ball. And this is the Chicago Bears. We're known for defense, and I get it. We have a quarterback. We need to protect the quarterback 100%. I'm with you guys right there. But again, when the offensive line on the rank is ranked in the middle, right dab in the middle of the whole entire NFL, you really don't need that much
But you're not.
tooling, I guess you could say.
But you're not keeping most of those guys. A lot of those
No,
guys are
and I
gone
understand
already.
you're not.
So so. Regardless of the fact you're starting from scratch, regardless. So I say you definitely again. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Before I know I cut you
No,
off. But
it's fine. But you need to help out your offense too as well to get great field position And that's another way to help out the offense and Justin Fields to be better for and taking the next step in better offensive positions too as well, have field management. So you do need to upgrade and bolster up front on the defensive line. That's just my personal take. So if Jalen Carter's there at 9, I feel like that's the only way that the Bears don't trade back if Jalen Carter is at number 9.
Okay.
Right? So the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow all our social media platforms under the Star 6 Media platforms on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Instagram, and all the other places. We also got Only Football, where you guys can see they post up almost every day on all our social media platforms. Here's a little promo on Only Football.
What's up, everybody? It's Kyle.
And I'm Rick, and welcome to Only Football, where we talk about everything going on in the NFL. You can catch our live streams on Mondays for trivia and Q&A, Thursdays for news around the league, as well as episodes of Only Football with Kyle that you can catch on Instagram and YouTube every Wednesday.
Follow us to keep up with the latest football news, trades, off-season rumors, and our favorite conspiracies here on Only Football. See ya!
See ya!
And that's right. That's Only Football that you can follow on their on the social media platform and everything like that. Their trivia questions. They actually had a good one the other day. What was it? What was their question that they posted up on social media?
You know what? That their Thursday night ones tomorrow.
Thursday night one.
Well, the Thursday night. Check them out Thursday night. That's when they do the trivia one. CP and I were going head to head. He's right now in first place. I came in pretty late, but I was getting them right, man. All I know is I'm tuning in tomorrow, and I'm taking that throne, CP. I'm letting you know right now. Only Football Thursday nights of trivia. It's a great show. One of my favorites. Definitely got to tune in for that.
Yeah, you guys definitely got to check that out too as well. All right, Jose. We got some bad news. Well, not really bad news. Well, I mean, at this point, it's already too late for me, right? It's already too late. But the Bulls lost right now to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers got their revenge. He said, "Nah, Jose." They got their revenge from Sunday night, beating the Bulls 121-110. Your boy, Street Clothes, how you like to call him, he's been on a revamp, man. He's been balling the last couple of weeks, and he's been holding this Lakers team into the playoff contention, man. He got a double, 38 points, 10 rebounds. Vooch got 29 and 12 of his own too as well.
It'll last another month, and then he'll get hurt again. I'm not worried about it.
Oh man, look, I think the real AD is really coming out to play, man. That's the one thing you did not want is AD being healthy, AD being AD of what we were usually accustomed to seeing, and the same Anthony Davis that we saw that won the NBA title for the Los Angeles Lakers a couple years back. But the real question is, Jose, now with this loss. What did they put them? I was just checking them out before we cut the promo.
The Bulls. The Bulls are now 36-39, still 10th in the Eastern Conference. So as of today, they're still in the play-in game. They're about 2 to 3 games above Washington. So I say we're in a good spot. You know, we definitely don't want to be 10th. We definitely want to be in the play-in game, but at the same time, you want to at least compete for something. And I don't see them falling below 10, to be honest.
Again, this conversation to me, it's already done and dusted because of the position they already put themselves in. They're not going to get anywhere between to fight for that top 4 pick. Right now, they lost their way out on containing their own first round draft pick this upcoming NBA draft. So right now, unfortunately, I have to root for the Bulls to somehow make a playoff push. Simply because at this point it's just irrelevant. It's just fitting for me that the Bulls put themselves in this position, not being in a higher position, being in this play-in game, and probably be one and done because at the moment they'll face the Toronto Raptors on the road.
How does that go? Is that how it works? Is it the 9th versus the 10th seed, or is it the 7th? Will it be 7th versus 10th and then 8th? No,
I think it is the 9th versus the 10th and the 7th versus the 8th because the loser between the 7th and the 8th faces the winner of the 9th and 10th, which will give them the spot for the 8th pick. I think that's how it goes.
Well, that makes no sense to me. Okay, I guess
I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Because why would the 7th face the 10th? You know what I mean? And
I
then
think that makes sense. If you're seventh and you face the lower seed, if you're the highest playing seed, you face the lower playing seed, and then the two middle ones beat each other up, and then the winner of the two face each other. But I guess you're right. Well, yeah, no, I don't know, man.
no,
I
I
guess
think
you're
it's
right. No,
right. I think the
you're
ninth
right. No,
was the
you're right.
10th.
You're right you're right because there is 8. There is supposed to be 8 total playoff teams. So you're absolutely right. The winner between the 7th and 8th solidifies that 7th spot, and then whoever, and then even if you're the 8th team who lose, you still have a shot of keeping that 8th spot, depending on if you beat the 9th or 10th playoff team. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So it would be the Toronto Raptors, which I think is doable.
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think it's. I don't think it. Well,
It's doable, Eric. It's doable. They're not that different from us. They're only 2 games above. They've been playing inconsistent just as much as we have. They seem to be better on paper, but to be honest, I think the Bulls could take them, man.
I think it's really more the inside game that kind of worries me about the Toronto Raptors a little bit, because the Bulls they play. I'm sorry, but they're soft when it comes interior wise, and I just can't see it. You know you know what I mean? Like
As long as
any
we don't face
matchup that the
Miami,
Bulls,
no. As long as we don't face Miami, I think we're good.
Yeah.
If I want Miami to beat Atlanta, I think we can beat Toronto and Atlanta, 100%.
I think Atlanta is probably the only team I give the Bulls advantage against. That's probably the only team. And to make matters worse, I think if by me saying that, I feel like the Bulls find a way to botch that one right away, right? But you're right. I think Miami's the team that you don't want to face. I still give the Toronto Raptors just a little bit of the advantage, because most of their players have that have been there, done that made that championship push, right? And interior wise, they're a lot more better than the Bulls. They play a little bit better defense than the Chicago Bulls. It's just offensively, they're very inconsistent. That's the only problem with the Toronto Raptors, is that scoring wise, they're on one days, they're off other days, and that's the one thing about the Toronto Raptors that I just don't trust them. Even then, so give a team like the Chicago Bulls, who also find struggling ways to score points, even though as of late they've been scoring a lot of points, and they've offensively they look like they've been getting here with the acquisition of Pat Beverly. I don't know. It's a slight advantage to me, in my point, simply because the Bulls have to go on the road to face the Toronto Raptors, and that's, to me, is the only reason why I give the Raptors the advantage.
I don't know. I think the Bulls have an absolute shot at every one of those teams, except the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat will give them trouble. That being said, regardless of the fact whether they make it into the playoffs or not, they would face a Milwaukee team that's just going to run through them regardless. So, we got something to root for at least 1 week.
I don't have anything to root for, bro. Like you look. You know what's my motto. You know what I always say: be better than last season, right? The Bulls are not better than last season. And even though they make the playoffs, right? Let's just say hypothetically they make the playoffs, right? They're into the final 8, right? They play against, the Milwaukee Bucks, right, in the first round. Even though they win that extra game, because in my standards, that's all you need to be a better season. I can't put that. This is just that anomaly where I can't put that exception that they were better than last season, because they weren't. Last season they had a better record. Last season they played a little bit more better up until Lonzo Ball got hurt. This year they're limping into the playoffs, and it's kind of the same way of just how they were last season. And then just because if they win that extra game,
last season they were stumbling, mumbling, bumbling. They were tripping on everything going to the playoffs. At least this time they're going in there with their heads held high a little bit. I think regardless of the fact, right? Last season they ended in a 6th spot. This year they're fighting for the 10th. It seems like it's worse, but I kind of feel like they have more of an identity going into the playoffs this time around than they did last season. So with that being said, I think they may have a better playoff run, regardless of the fact that they're still getting bounced at the first round. But I think they'll look a lot more formidable against whoever they go against in the playoffs for sure.
Nah, I don't think so. You may be right. On that aspect, you're right. You're probably right, because they got that point guard that they were missing last season, right? And Pat Beverly, obviously him coming in, has done wonders, right? But right now they have lost 3 out of the last 5, right? Yep. Against playoff contending teams, the Clippers, the Lakers twice, the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they faced a week or two ago, right? Again, I think to me, what's affecting me and my positive thinking for the Chicago Bulls, excuse me, to actually say that they can actually pull this through, it's just the whole entire negativity that I had through them throughout the whole entire season. And I can't see it. I honestly, I can't see it. I can see a gentleman sweep. Hell, I won't be surprised even if it's a sweep. Like that won't be shocking to me at all. Like it was just they won these play-in games just for them to get swept again, because I said a sweep last year, and I was damn near almost right. They luckily got one in Milwaukee, but it just felt like that series was never close from the start.
Yeah.
But look, the remaining schedule is on Friday. The remaining schedule is at Charlotte, at home against Memphis and Atlanta, at Milwaukee, at Dallas, and the final game of the season on Easter is against Detroit here at home. So that's 6 games. How many games do you think the Bulls will win out of these next 6 games? Will they go 3-3? Will they go 4-2? Will they go 2-4? And maybe probably even bounce out.
And I know you just said the teams. I need to look at it first, though. I need to look at them visually.
Charlotte, Memphis, Atlanta, Milwaukee. At Charlotte, at home against Memphis and Atlanta, on the road against Milwaukee and Dallas, and at home against the Detroit Pistons.
And
They're all tough.
They go 3-3.
3-3.
3-3.
I can see him going 500.
Which may or may not save them to go make into this play-in game.
No, it'll save them. They'll like I said, they'll keep that 10th spot. They're not going nowhere. I think 3-3 is formidable. It's not a losing record. But I just think Milwaukee is way too good. I don't see you beating Memphis. I mean, those teams are fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, for a seeding. Dallas as well. I think you could. I think you lose to Dallas, but you can get wins over Detroit, Atlanta, and Charlotte for sure.
The final 5 games for the Indiana Pacers are Oklahoma at home, at Cleveland, versus New York at home, versus the Pistons at home, and then they go on the road against New York on the last game of the season.
Yeah, but they're still like 3 or 4 games behind as well, though. So
That's 2, and they have the tiebreaker against the Chicago Bulls. So even if they have the same record, even if they win that extra game, the Bulls will get eliminated because of the head-to-head record that they have on the Chicago Bulls. So again, like it's pivotal for the Bulls to actually come out with a 4-2 record just to avoid all of this. Because even if they go 300 and the Indiana Pacers, lose one game and they have the same record, the Pacers will make it in the play-in because of the head-to-head record.
Yeah.
So again, it's just it's the only 2 games that I see tough are the 2 road games that they got. The next 3 out of the 5 are at home, and they have to go to Cleveland on the road, and the last game of the season against New York, who New York's actually pretty decent this year.
I know they've been one of the surprises for sure this year in the NBA. Another team that's really, really surprised me is the Sacramento Kings. For such a long time, that team has been irrelevant and one of the bottom feeders of the NBA. But being third in the Western Conference Finals right now, the Western Conference right now is a pretty huge accomplishment for them. They've been playing really good basketball.
So that's for sure. But I want to get into that, Eric. What are your top 3 teams you think can realistically win a championship this season? Both on the Eastern Conference and in the Western. What are your top 3 teams that you could see competing for an NBA Finals? How about that?
That's a good one. That's a good question, Jose. For the East, I'm gonna give you the easiest 2, and that's Boston and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
My dark horse, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that 100%. The top 3 for me are easy. Are the easiest ones. I think Milwaukee, Boston, and Philadelphia are the 3 top teams because of the players on the team. You and I both know you need superstars to win a championship. I think all 3 of those teams have it. The Cleveland Cavaliers has a star. I don't believe Donovan Mitchell to be a superstar, at least not yet.
Oh, come on now.
I think he can solidify that spot based on what he does with Cleveland this year. If he can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with Cleveland Cavaliers, then I would then sit here and tell you Mitchell is a superstar. I don't think he's a bona fide superstar right now. So I would say because you have Joel Embiid in Philadelphia, because you have Jason Tatum in Boston, because you have our boy Giannis at Milwaukee, those teams for sure I could see, vying for an NBA championship only because of the superstars that they have running that team and that offense.
I get you, but the one thing about the Cleveland Cavaliers is the fact that they're a well balanced team.
Yeah,
Offensively, defensively, that team is good. They could get you on the run. They could get you, even on set. They're pretty big on the interior. They're pretty athletic. They're all tall and lanky and athletic about it. They shoot decent from the mid range and from the threes. I think they're in the top 10 in most of the categories. I said in most of the categories. Plus, they got players. Don't get me wrong. Look, obviously outside of oh my God, you just said his name. Fuck, Donovan Mitchell, right? You got Karis LeVert, right? Darius Garland, Jared Allen. You have players in this team. Damn, I didn't even know Robin Lopez is in this damn squad too, right? Is he? Is he in? It was it Brooke Lopez?
No, it's
I think it's Robin.
It is Robin.
Yeah. So you got teams that are young and athletic in the squad that can actually get you and players that are stepping up in their game. And I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, to me, in a series, they can go toe to toe against the 76ers, who I personally believe, may be the team that will take that step back. I have no faith in James Harden. You know how I feel about James Harden, right? It's Joel Embiid or nobody on that team. You might as well say the 76ers are playing with 1.5 star because I guess you got to give credit where credit is due to James Harden, but James Harden doesn't show up in the playoffs, bro. So if there's a place there, right?
That's why I mentioned him. I only mentioned Joel.
Right. So yes, you need a superstar to win him. Obviously, Boston is the one that only has two. Giannis kind of plays for like two, but technically he's just only one. So to me, that's why I have them as a dark horse. Unfortunately, in order for them to make it into the Eastern Conference, if they do, they need to go through Milwaukee. I'm trying to see where they're at, but they need to go to Milwaukee because they're the 4th seed in this position. But I could kind of see it happen though. Like I could kind of see the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Final, and that would be something exciting to see. As for the West,
yeah, I'll go. What do you think about it?
Yeah, because the West is hard, bro. It's hard.
It is hard, but I'm looking at again superstars and what teams can come out of it. I think Denver. You gotta put Denver in there with Nikola Jokic.
I don't know.
He's leading that team, man. He's another. We can literally win another MVP if he wanted to. Him leading that team. I for sure believe that they could be contenders. You look at the team like the Phoenix Suns. Look, when you have Kevin Durant, he's coming back healthy. Then damn well that team's going to be the team to beat in the Western Conference. And we cannot forget about the Los Angeles Clippers with Kawhi Leonard coming back in shape, with Paul George doing his thing. Russell Westbrook has been playing amazing on the Clippers, absolutely amazing. I think that team is definitely a team you don't want to go against in the playoffs. That's my dark horse. But yeah, that's why I feel. I mean, obviously, you've seen the Memphis Grizzlies and John Morant, what they're able to do. But as long as he keeps it together and doesn't get in trouble, I think they can make some noise as well. And we haven't even talked about Dallas, but the 3 teams I mentioned: Denver. Where am I blanking the other 2 already?
You said Denver, Phoenix, and the Clippers.
Phoenix and Los Angeles. Yeah, those 3 teams are for me are the ones you gotta watch out for.
I think as I'm looking it up right now, I think Dallas is not even in the play-in tournament. I think they play themselves out of the play-in tournament. Yep, wow. They're actually 11th. They are a game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder for that 10th spot. You believe that Kyrie and Luka may miss out on the playoffs?
They were better. They were better without Kyrie before they traded for him.
Yeah, but you know what? That's I think that's Dallas's fault for not really building rightfully so around Luka. They tried.
Kyrie had issues. Still does.
Yeah. No defense. That team plays no defense.
Nope.
They could score 150. They'll give up 152. You know,
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's just No defense
Shout
whatsoever.
out to the Lakers, man. You mentioned Anthony Davis has been playing lights out. LeBron's been holding it down since he was gone. All the trades that they made,
Yeah.
they've gotten themselves in a good position right now. In the
Yeah,
playoffs.
CP should be very happy, which is, I think that's one of my teams that you probably have to look out for. And I think I'm just going to be this guy, right? I think my 3 teams out of the West, the teams that I trust the most to somehow make noise, the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm only putting this team up here because I personally feel, and maybe everybody in the NBA too as well, right? I personally feel like this team needs to make a run to an NBA final or to a Western Conference final, and that's the Denver Nuggets, a team where you have back-to-back MVP and Jokic, right? And you don't get into a Western Conference Finals. I think they got to the semis last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember on top of my head, but they need to make this run and a significant run too as well to just maintain this team, because it's going to be back-to-back seasons where you have the MVP and you don't. And you don't have an NBA Finals or Eastern or Western Conference Finals to look to look upon, right? And then the questions are going to begin. When are you going to blow this team up, because you can't make it farther past than this position because of the other 2 teams that I mentioned, of the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. It's scary that you think that the Los Angeles Lakers right now are 8th at the moment, right? But they're getting healthy at the right time. The trade deadline helped them a lot, getting the players that they need to get. They're playing well defensively. Like I said, AD holding it down since LeBron has been out. He's proven to you why, when he's on the court, he can be one of the, if not the best players in the NBA and one of the best power forwards in the league when he's healthy. And he could take over a team and a franchise when he can. And look what he's doing now with the Los Angeles Lakers. Like I said, CP should be happy that his Lakers are actually going to be performing and maybe in the playoffs. But again, I'm going to trust what I know. And in the West, you know that the Golden State Warriors are going to be there. You know that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be there. I'm only putting the Denver Nuggets in there because, to me, the Phoenix Suns, even though they got KD, I don't know how they're going to look like. Plus, they have Chris Paul as their point guard. I think he's a fraud. I don't think he's going to get you over the hump anyways. Yes, he got into the finals last year.
He's not a fraud. He's just
he is. I don't know why they call him a point guard. He really doesn't do anything to you.
Everybody just expects more from him.
And he can't do it.
He's much older. But yeah, he's much older.
Even back then in his prime, he couldn't even do it.
We're not alone. I mean, as you know, the NBA.
All I'm hearing is excuses, bro. That's all I'm hearing right now. All I'm hearing is excuses. I'm sorry, but yes, last year it was his first or second time in the Western Conference Finals, his first time in the NBA Finals. You give him that, but other than that, nothing shows for it other than the 2 Olympic gold medalists and all these multiple All-Stars appearances that this guy has had, and that's pretty much it. But I don't trust the Phoenix Suns. I really don't. Even though they got KD, will I be surprised if they're there? No, because of the squad that they have. But if you tell me what 3 teams I have more confidence in, will be the Lakers, because they've been there, done that. Would be the Warriors, because they've definitely been there and done that. And because of the Denver Nuggets, because they've been the best basketball team so far this NBA season. Yeah. So if you want me, those are my 3 coming out of the West, and I'm just going to stick through it.
Okay.
The JCA Sports Podcast here live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Konavi Facebook page, and also under the Star 6 Media Productions. We have make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. And also look out for more shows like we have here, like the main event coming for you guys.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the main event of the evening. Alongside my brother from the same mother, Enrique Contreras, I'm Jose Contreras. We are here to bring you guys all the latest and greatest topics in combat sports.
That's right, Jose. We're going to talk WWE, AEW, UFC, boxing, all the mixed martial arts. We'll even get into the backstage stuff, all the controversy. Just make sure you tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m.
And like I said, we'll be here, guys, next week. Rick, we'll see you, man.
So that's the main event that you guys will see every Tuesday night at, 9 p.m.?
9 p.m. Tuesday night. If you guys follow us on TikTok, you start to see little show clips. I've been posting them. But yeah, guys, we've had fun, man. It's WrestleMania week. We talked WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
I vented on Canelo Alvarez. So if you want to hear me vent on King Canelo Alvarez, make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. You can watch and we can watch yesterday's episode on Facebook and on YouTube. So
yeah, under the John Konavi Facebook page and also the Star Six Media Facebook page too, as well. I think you said Mania Week. Mania Week. Who do you got? Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes?
Oh man, 100%. Like I said yesterday, guys, Cody Rhodes wins WrestleMania for me. He has to. I think it has to happen in order for the WWE to split both the Universal and WWE title. It's a much smoother road when it's Cody that wins it instead of having Roman keep it. So that's just my answer. I think Cody Rhodes wins it for sure. And plus, you don't want to continue having a part-time champion. It's not good for business.
So the 1,000 days won't mean anything for the industry. Like they wouldn't do the 1,000 days.
I'm not saying it won't mean anything. All I'm saying is that it's unnecessary. You've already had Roman with this long reign already. He's already beaten almost everybody on the roster. What's the point? You know what I mean? He's a part-time champion. You're not going to see him every week. And to me, that's an issue. Give it to Cody. He's going to be there every single week. Raw or SmackDown, doesn't matter. You're seeing it now. He deserves the titles. He had a long journey to get to this spot. And then from there, you won't feel bad having him lose one of them. Maybe at SummerSlam to somebody like Gunther, to somebody like Seth Rollins, to somebody like Drew McIntyre, you name it, right? Whoever it is, definitely have options there. But when it's Roman Reigns, you have to have him lose not once but twice if you want them to get split. And I don't know if that's possible. You have him go 1,000 reigns for what? Just for him to lose him? That's what's going to happen afterwards. So it's like, that's predictable. I think that's more predictable than having Cody Rhodes win at WrestleMania. Because everybody now thinks Roman wins.
I can see it. And I think I sent a couple weeks back a little TikTok video that I showed. Like, it's not these. I honestly do believe that Roman Reigns should win this WrestleMania event, right? But it should end with Jey Uso. Because it started with him. It should end with him. Storyline would be better with that. And I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I think that'll be great. You need a baby face for it. I get it. Cody Rhodes would be that baby face. But I think Jey would be great. I see the Usos losing. I can see a storyline where the Usos losing their tag team title matches, right? Roman Reigns still wins and holds the title, but then the bloodline starts getting its crack that Roman Reigns were like, you guys can't do it, blah, 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 this and that, where Jey turns on him. And then after the 1,000 days, Jey becomes a universal title. And then you can have your little scrap on here and there. Whether if it's Cody, whether if it's Sammy, whether if it's Kevin Owens.
I think what happens is that one of the Usos, maybe it's whether Solo Sikoa or maybe one of the Usos come and I think Cody's winning. One of them comes to try to help Roman win, but in return, messes up. And Cody ends up winning. Then you can still do that. Then you can still do a whole feud between Roman and the Usos or Roman and Jey if you want to. I think Jey turns on Roman. I think maybe the Usos lose night one against Sammy and Kevin, and they look at Roman like, well, where the hell have you been? Like, we're always having your back. Why don't you have ours? Well, I can see it like this. I can see the Usos losing night one. Then Roman being like, okay, why didn't you guys be there for me night two? And then Jey like, well, you weren't there for us because damn well Roman's not going to be in their corner when they defend their tag titles. And he can be like, he can say something like that. Well, where were you helping us out when we lost our titles? I can see that dividing them. And then when it comes down to it, maybe him turning on Roman, stunning everybody in the arena, Cody hitting the crossroads, 1, 2, 3, and boom. And then you can still do a feud between Roman and Jey for no titles, just bad blood going against each other to end the story that you started off with these two guys, and then everyone's happy. Everybody's happy.
I think it will just have a little bit more value if there's a title in between. I do think so. I get it though. There's matches that don't need titles in order for it, and I understand that. We're gonna see a lot of those over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I get that, and that's also a good story. But I just feel like Jey needs to fight other than the pride, just has something in return, like a
I
title.
don't know. The thing is, he's already had the tag titles for so long. I don't think you just throw another title on top of him.
Individual one is all I'm trying to say.
You know?
I get you. Hey, real quick before we end the show here on the JCA Sports Podcast, we'd like to thank everybody that hopped on. CP, Rick, John, everybody else, everybody who's liked and shared our show. Guys, make sure you follow us every Wednesday, or make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the JCA Sports Podcast for us as we come in live. Next week, we do have a special guest for you guys as we're going to interview one of the columnists for HeavyOnBulls.com. His name is Josh Burks. When we got into contact with him, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls and get a more insight depth on what happened and what would be
ideal.
I'm sorry, not Josh Bucks. I'm sorry, I said Burks Bucks. So yeah, we're gonna interview him next week for you guys. That'll be part of our show next week on the Chicago Bulls. So stay tuned in for that. But real quick before we end the show, Jose, opening day is tomorrow. It's one of the one of the most anticipated sports events in all of sports outside of NFL opening kickoff, Super Bowl, yada yada yada. I know we touched base on this a couple of weeks ago, but as more as I'm leaning into, more I'm reading after spring training and stuff like that, I think I'm starting to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, Jose, that the Cubs might have a better season than the White Sox. Am I crazy?
No. I think both teams can surprise us, whether it's positively or negatively. However, I'm not mad at that. I don't think it's far fetched to say that the Cubs have a better season, because we don't know exactly what they have. They upgraded for sure than last year, and I felt like last year they played hard. At the end of the season, after the All-Star break, they were playing hard for David Ross. And with the subpar roster, they've had a better record after the All-Star break than after the trade deadline than the White Sox did. And that's saying something. So they play hard under David Ross. They have a way better team this year. So who knows, right? Who knows? But at the same time, the White Sox is constructed to have a better season. We'll just find out. I'm excited because, now that I work for 670 The Score, I'm going to be all in on both the Cubs and the White Sox, and I have to be. I'm not saying that I wasn't before, but with I'm going to be Tony Baseball. You're going to be introduced to Tony Baseball all season long, so definitely excited for that.
I mean, outside of pitching in the infield, right? Everything else is kind of more of a toss-up between both teams, right? Obviously, the pitching side goes obviously to the White Sox, right? When you have Lucas Giolito, when you have Dylan Cease, who's going to be on the mound, Lance Lynn, right? You already have your 1-2-3. It's a better 1-2-3 than Marcus Stroman, Jameson Taillon, and Kyle Hendricks. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Kyle Hendricks. I've always loved the way how Kyle Hendricks pitches, not too fast, but Mr. Control, the professor, right? But you still give the edge to the White Sox on that department. I think in the infield,
100%.
Yeah, in the infield, when you have a shortstop like TA, right? Elvis Andrews is going to be your second baseman, which is technically like another, shortstop, because that's basically what he played throughout the whole entire season. Gavin Sheets is probably up in the air on what type of first baseman he's going to be. It's going to be the first time there. And obviously, Yohan Moncada, who had a good World Baseball Classic series. If he could stay healthy, maybe he could be a little something. But the infield and pitching are probably the two positions that I give the edge to the White Sox by a good by a good margin, right? On the outfield, that's where we get a little bit weary, right? Because Eloy Jimenez is just one crash into the wall away to miss like half of the season.
Well, he's in better shape this season, so we'll see.
Still, he's not that great defensively anyways, right? Andrew Benintendi, you know where you're going to get from him, right? And Luis Robert, if he can stay healthy, he's a 5-tool player, and that's no disrespect there, right? But again, all it takes is one player to be out and done for this team, and this season could almost possibly be over, especially if it's Luis Robert or also Eloy Jimenez. That's where it's kind of like, and catching, they're both up in the air. Yes, you have Yasmani Grandal, who had I think a great season a couple years back, but but ever since he arrived to the South Side, shell of himself. I don't care what anybody says. Some people say he's the best catcher in Chicago when Wilson Contreras was there. I laughed because it's not really true. It's a toss-up. It's literally a toss-up between, the outfielder and the catcher's position. And I personally believe, like, the more I've seen and what I saw in the last couple of days between the Cubs and the White Sox in spring training, I get it, it's spring training, but it was the last spring training dress rehearsal where most of the players, the starters, had majority of the share play. You saw a little bit of advantage that the Cubs can probably, make a little noise in the NL Central. I'm leaning towards it, but I'm still sticking to the White Sox and still being the better team out of both teams in Chicago. But I won't be surprised if the Cubs do make some ruido this upcoming season. Probably, just maybe, be better than the White Sox overall. So I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. Make sure you guys follow us on those platforms as long as TikTok and also on Instagram, where we post almost every single day on all our platforms anyway. So make sure you guys like and share all of our platforms. Make sure you also like and share all of our shows, not just our show, EAFP, Main Event, 3 Up, 3 Down, Only Football, and all our other sports shows that we have under the Star 6 Media production. Make sure you guys like and share all of our shows, and make sure you hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live. For Mr. 670, the score right there, Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. We will see you guys next week with a special guest in Josh Bucks. And like I said, he's the beat writer for Heavy on Bulls. We're going to have an interview with him next week. So make sure you guys tune in for that one as well. Jose, make sure you're on time next week too as well, bro. It's going to be a good one. Please make sure when duty calls, take it a little early. All right? As for Eric Avila, Jose Contreras, we'll see you guys next week. Jose!
What a finish! Wow, that is unfreaking believable. What a way for a ball game to end.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's terrible. My God. The humanity.
They may be the drunkest couple in the history of sporting events.
I loved his face.
I would suspect that fan is done for the night. Here's the thing. When you steal something, don't wear it.